Audra, welcome to another video. So today we are going to be talking about how too much exercise can make you fat. Seriously, it definitely can. And I know that there's a lot of you out there saying, no way, like it's all about calories in versus calories out. If I exercise more than I eat, then I'm gonna lose all this weight, blah, 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 blah. And that's totally fine if you want to take that position, but hear me out when I tell you the top 3 reasons why exercising too much can possibly, again, I'm not going to say that it always will, but it possibly can make you fat, especially in the long run. Number 1 is you are going to be a lot hungrier, okay? Especially depending on the specific type of exercise that you're doing. Some exercises are going to make you a little bit less hungry than others, while others will make you extremely ravenous. And we all know this. You know that if you go for a walk, you're not going to be as hungry as if you went for like a 15-mile run, right? Like obviously, I mean, this is pretty much common sense. And I'm not saying that the goal in life is to never make yourself hungry. That's not the point of this. This isn't, don't exercise so you're not hungry and being hungry is a bad thing. Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I promote at all. But there's 2 reasons why doing way too much exercise can lead you to be hungry and can lead to fat gain. First thing is that we tend to miscalculate the amount of calories or the amount of like energy that we actually expended when we work out, okay? We all do this. Like you'll get up in the morning, you're like, okay, I'm gonna go work out today, I'm gonna go for a run or whatever, and you go for like a 20-minute jog around the block, and you're done and you're exhausted and you're like, oh my gosh, like I just had the best workout, I'm sweating like a pig, like I feel so good, I know I burned like 500 calories, let's go in here and eat. And truth of the matter is you didn't burn 500 calories, you didn't burn anywhere near that amount of calories, but you think that because you went and did this workout or whatever, and let's just say maybe not even 20 minutes, let's say it was like an hour, you still think you burned so many calories, and you come in and you're like, oh my gosh, like I just burned a ton, so now I can go eat whatever I want. Well, that's not actually going to work out so great for you every single time. Most of us, again I say most, are very, very bad at calculating the amount of calories that we think that we've burned, or even the amount of calories that we think that we've eaten. A lot of people say, oh, I just eat like 2,000 calories a day, when really you're probably eating like 2,500. Or there's some people who say, I eat 2,000 a day, and you're really eating like 800. The whole idea about calories is not the point here. The point is that when you work out, you psychologically think, especially when you work out really hard or you go for long distances of working out or long spurts, like time frames of working out, you think in your mind, I have burned so much, so now I can just go eat. You tend to overeat. This is where the little sub point of this first thing comes in, is that it's not a bad thing that you replenish after you work out. Like you definitely need to be doing that. If you're not doing that, you're definitely going down the wrong road. But what tends to happen is that you go and you work out like crazy, chronically crazy. You come back and you are famished and you're exhausted. If you have not been eating the right amount of foods leading up until that workout, then you're asking for a complete rebound type of binge. This is where a lot of people get stuck in this cycle, because they will go work out and they'll burn however many calories they want to burn, and then once they're done doing that, they're like, oh my gosh, like I'm starving. So you go and you binge on the super high calories, super junk food type of stuff that is basically negating everything that you just did in your workout. And so you do that, and then the next day you're like, crap, like I just ate 15,000 calories of junk or just whatever, and now here I am and I've got to go work out again. So you go and work out really, really long, and then you come back and you binge on junk, and you go back and forth, and it's this binge, restrict, workout, like exercise bulimia type of thing. The reality of it is that over time, you can't, I mean, you hear this all the time, you really can't out-exercise a bad diet. It doesn't work like that. I actually experienced this myself. This is how I ended up gaining 65 pounds like years ago, because I would like eat a horrible diet, like a low carb, low calorie diet during the week. And then when the weekend got there, and that whole week too, I was working out a ton. And then when the weekend got there, I was just like so hungry because I wasn't fueling my body with the right foods before my workouts. So my body was just craving calories, like it needed to be replenished. I didn't go to, fruits and vegetables. I went to high calorie junk food. But over time, there was an energy imbalance, and I was eating way more than I was exercising, even though I was exercising a ton. My point about this is, number 1, yes, when you work out, you're going to be hungry. That's just natural. You're burning calories, you're burning energy, and you need to replenish that. But if you think that you've burned all these calories and you go and just eat a ton of food, then you're probably miscalculating exactly how much. And not only that, but you're also probably eating the wrong foods. So the right foods that I encourage you to start eating before you work out, after you work out, and just make it a part of your life is foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, starches, beans, legumes, nuts and seeds, those type of things, especially carbohydrate-rich foods. If you're someone who likes to exercise a lot, you like going on runs, you like riding the bike, whatever, you need to be eating a high carb diet for sure, and coming from good sources that have a lot of fiber, a lot of water, a lot of nutrition, instead of just trying to live off of junk food to get you through your runs or whatever you're doing, because at the end of the day, you're not burning as many calories as you think that you are, and if you don't fill up on the right foods, then you're just going to set you up for a horrible binge down the road. The second point is the whole issue of cortisol. Everyone forgets about cortisol. Everyone likes to think that it's just calories in, calories out. And that is a very, very, very simplistic way of thinking about nutrition and fitness and exercise and health in general, because it's very naive to forget about how hormones work in the body, specifically cortisol, which is what I'm going to talk about now, but also thyroid hormones, reproductive hormones, your adrenals, all of those things. They work together in tandem. If you start working out like crazy, like you're doing all types of long distance chronic cardio over and over again, like just pounding it out, your body senses that as a stress, okay? Any type of exercise at all is a stress on your body. That doesn't mean it's a bad stress, but it can become a bad stress, especially if it's done chronically over and over and over again for a long period of time. When your body senses that it's under stress, it's going to increase your cortisol levels, and your cortisol is your stress hormone. And when cortisol goes up, what tends to happen is it stills from all your other hormones, specifically your reproductive hormones. This might be a huge reason why a lot of you are having issues with your period or with your testosterone or sex drive or whatever like that, because when cortisol is up, those other hormones suffer in the long run. When your cortisol goes up, that's your body's way of saying, I'm stressed out right now. And newsflash, your body doesn't know that you're just going for a 10-mile run in the park with your friend. It doesn't know that. From a physiological standpoint, your body literally thinks you're being chased for 10 miles by a lion. That's what it thinks. And so its job is to say, all right, we're in a stressful situation right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower all the other hormones, like the healthy hormones that we need to be working properly for reproduction and for healthy thyroid and for healthy adrenals and for healthy stress management. We're going to increase the cortisol. So by doing that, what's essentially going to happen from a fat standpoint is we're going to store fat and we're going to retain water. So a lot of people always talk about, oh my gosh, like I'm so puffy, or like after I work out and for a few days afterwards, like I'm just so retaining so much water. It's because of your cortisol. Your cortisol is off, and most likely your electrolytes are off as well. But from a fat standpoint, this is your body's way of surviving. Your body's number one goal is survival, far outweighing anything else, even before having a six-pack, walking on stage in a bikini, like for a bikini competition, being a bodybuilder, having low body fat, looking like a model. Your body doesn't care about any of that stuff. Your body's number one goal is survival, and a huge part of that is your fat stores. So at any time that your body feels like you are stressed out, it's going to retain and hold on to fat, because fat is just stored energy. When things get crazy and your body's like, we gotta have some type of energy coming in, it can always pull from those fat reserves. So it's going to store the fat for survival purposes. Now, obviously, again, like I said, your body doesn't know you're just walking around at the park or jogging around the park with your friend, and you're like, what's going on? Like, I'm doing everything right, I'm eating healthy, I'm going for runs. But chronically over time, if your cortisol is increased, you're going to be more apt to holding on to fat. My biggest tip for this is to start backing off your exercise. And if that is a scary thing for you, I highly encourage you to go watch my whole series on exercise addiction. It's a whole quiz you can go through to figure out just how addicted you are when it comes to exercise. Because if even the thought of backing off of exercise freaks you out, then there's a deeper issue going on than just you have high cortisol and you're storing body fat, okay? So take more rest days, get into yoga, get into some type of Pilates or a bar class or something lower intensity, especially if your number one form of exercise is long distance endurance, chronic cardio type of things. In addition to that is also the idea of high intensity interval training. People way overdo it on this. They're doing it 3, 4, 5 times a week for 20 to 45 minutes. And that is so stressful on your body. Yes, you might get some results in the very beginning for a few months, maybe up to a year, but at some point it's going to be a huge backfire on you. Which leads me to number 3, doing too much exercise can set you up for long-term fat gain. Number 1, how many people have you ever seen, and maybe this is yourself actually, that have been on some type of workout routine? Like they went from couch potato to marathon runner like overnight, they lost a bunch of weight, and then now when you see them, they've gained all that weight back plus more. Well, the problem is that they basically just went too hard too fast. Yes, they lost the weight, but they didn't do it in a sustainable way. Most people, when they lose a ton of weight very quickly, they're doing that in an unsustainable type of way, and your body will only let you get away with that for a very short amount of time. So at some point, your body's gonna say, no, dude, like no more. We are burnt out, we're worn out, our adrenals are burned out, the thyroid is super low, you have no sex drive, you're not getting a period, your cortisol is through the roof, and you just keep pushing and pushing and pushing because you want those same results that you had before. There will be a rebound at some point if you're going too hard, too much, too intense, too fast all the time, chronically. The second part of this is that for a long-term perspective, if you are starting to get into this and you're seeing that you have exercise addiction issues or disordered eating or whatever, yeah, you can get away with that for a little while, but at some point, your body's going to rebel and you're gonna have to go through this whole time of recovery. And recovery sucks. You don't wanna have to go through recovery. Now, I say it sucks, I mean, it can be an enjoyable time and all that, but at the end of the day, nobody really wants to have to go through recovery and dealing with body image issues and dealing with having to eat more and dealing with, you know, all of those type of things that goes into that. So if you're flirting with that at this point, like if you're flirting with, you know, I gotta have this body fat, or I wanna be stage lean, or I want to look like this girl, and so I gotta do all this exercise and really limit my calories or my carbs or all this kind of stuff, just know you will at some point, either A, you'll eventually just die from malnutrition, or B, you'll have to go through some type of recovery. You can't continue on like that forever and ever and ever. Or I guess C would be you could keep yo-yoing through the rest of your life and being miserable, but at some point, like something has to give is what I'm trying to say. And the third thing about this is long term, if you're doing exercises that are crazy from a chronic cardio, especially or a high intensity interval training, you know, those type of things, if you're doing that all the time and it's not sustainable, if you ever get injured, if something ever comes up in your life, like a major event or something like that, or you're prevented from exercising or whatever, you're setting yourself up for fat gain, okay, long term. Because if you have ever watched people who have run marathons or they're cyclists or whoever, and they get hurt or they just quit or something happens in their life and they can't continue on in that, they gain weight very quickly because the type of exercise that they were doing was not sustainable. Their diet did not match up with that, okay? So that's another huge thing, is the diet aspect of this. Like I've talked about at the very beginning, you wanna be sure that you're following the right diet. Diet is where it all starts. You cannot out-exercise a bad diet, and really, diet is, most people say it's like 80% diet, 20% fitness. I would actually bump that up a little bit and say it's actually 90% diet, 10% fitness, okay? Or 10% workout, exercise, whatever. So if you are eating a horrible diet, but you're just feeling like a rat on a wheel and you can't ever get out of it and you don't know what you're doing, and you know, you have to work out so you can eat this and you've got to burn these calories, and just like that whole horrible mentality, then I highly encourage you to change your diet first. Eat good, nutritious, whole plant foods, and you will feel amazing. And you will feel so good that, yeah, you'll want to go work out, but it won't be the type of workout where you're just killing yourself to burn calories or burn the fat or lose the weight or whatever you're going through in your personal journey right now. It has to be sustainable. You want a sustainable diet and you want a sustainable exercise routine. If what you're doing right now you can't see yourself doing in years from now, then there's probably a good chance that you probably shouldn't be doing it right now. That's not to say you can't ever do it again, but if you're doing it day after day, week after week, month after month, and you just see things that are falling apart, you're gaining fat, you feel horrible, your hormones are off, like you're just not there, then I would encourage you to back off, find something else, de-stress, let your body rest and recover. And what might actually happen is you might see that you start to lose weight and lose fat and lose the water retention, because your body is going to just chill out and it's going to say, hey, we're not running from lions anymore. We're not super stressed out. We're not eating a horrible, horrible diet to compensate for everything that we just did on the treadmill. You know, we're not going through that anymore. We can just chill, eat really good food, let the food take care of the body aspect, and do fitness and exercising from a health perspective, just to get outside and to be active and to stretch and to move and to jump and to play, that type of thing. It doesn't have to be this crazy, intense, extreme type of program. I really hope those help you guys. I know a lot of people get stuck in the addiction to chronic exercise, and I know I keep saying cardio a lot, but it could be anything. Like, I think cardio gets a bad rap. Cardio is awesome. I love doing cardio, but at the same time, you have to be very careful that you don't just forget about all the other type of exercise out there that you could be overdoing it on as well, okay? So I hope that's helpful. I hope that helps you guys. And if you have any stories that you'd like to share about how you changed things up, you lost body fat, or you were doing this and you gained a bunch of fat or whatever, please leave them below so that other people can be inspired and motivated as well. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.